It truly was the end of Donald Trump after his insurrection, after his absolute botching of the pandemic, letting thousands of people die during COVID, the Helsinki summit. I trust Vladimir Putin's word over our intelligence agencies. It's just this guy can't stoop any lower. How is he supposed to defend American interests and stand up to dictators if he's intimidated by a woman like Kamala? That was terrible optics. Walk up to the middle of the stage and shake her hand. But he didn't want to do that. He was frightened. He was intimidated by Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris actually walked up smiling, wanted to shake Donald Trump's hand. Trump didn't walk to a mid stage to do that. He was just staying around behind his podium. Kamala actually had to walk up to his podium to shake his hand. She says, "Let's have a great debate." She was smiling. Donald Trump looked very grumpy, that scowl kind of look that he has. He has completely lost it, and Kamala had herself a great debate. Rambling on about the immigrants, every single question, even if the question on hand had nothing to do with immigration, Donald Trump was still rambling on about these pesky brown people coming across the border. Every single question. What was he going on about? Migrants are eating our cats and dogs. What? We were all laughing, wondering what the hell is this guy talking about? Even on the border, Kamala destroyed him on the border. She correctly said that, hey, Donald Trump struck down the border bill. So she was absolutely right about the border. Donald Trump, he could smile, he couldn't deny it. Another one of the telling questions was, do you regret anything that happened on January 6th? Of course, Donald Trump is a sociopath, so he has no regrets about anything about what transpired on January 6th, and that should be a big concern for people to know that he has very little regard for the Constitution or the rule of law or upholding American democracy. Even it's you don't have to like the outcome of the election. It's about upholding democracy, and this is one of the safest election results to date in 2020. And now, who would want a second debate? I mean, there'd be no reason for Kamala to have a second debate at this point because why risk having a bad debate just before the election? But I think she doesn't mind having another debate because she thinks it'd be another chance for Donald Trump to showcase his senility in front of millions of people. 67 million people watched that debacle, that nonsensical rambling display from Donald Trump last night. Oh, there's another one. I have concepts of an idea, says Donald Trump. You have ideas or you don't have ideas? I have concepts of ideas. Concept of an idea. Really? Concept of an idea. Kamala says, I have plans for that. I have plans for $25,000 down payment. Donald Trump, of course, had nothing for the economy, no tax deductions for businesses, nothing to offer to the American people except the hatred and bigotry and fear of pesky brown people crossing over the border. Nobody is having any of that from that senile old lunatic. He's completely washed up and he has no ideas to run on. He has no energy whatsoever to go out and campaign. He can't even propose bringing back manufacturing jobs. This guy is cooked. Even Republicans have had enough of senile Donald Trump. They've had enough of it. What are your ideas? What Well, why is what Kamala's saying going to be bad for the country? I mean, even his advisors, even fellow Republican politicians are not happy with the way Donald Trump has conducted his campaign. All you have to do is stay on script and don't get rattled. Kamala beat him right there when she said that 81 million people fired you. When she said, correctly, by the way, that people were tired and sleeping and leaving Donald Trump's rallies before they end. And that actually has happened. You can see pictures of the first hour of his rallies and the second hour where the stadium is emptying. People have had enough of that nonsensical, rambling speech of Donald Trump. We've seen the pictures in Atlanta. He doesn't like having rallies at arenas because it would show that people are leaving his rallies, not attending his rallies, because there's lots of empty seats at his rallies to begin with, anytime he hosts them at arenas. That's why he doesn't like hosting them at arenas. But right there, the game is truly over. Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris. This is only going to bring more young people to go out and register to vote. They like Taylor's music. Taylor tells them how to go out and register to vote, because for people who have never voted before, you can't just show up and vote. You got to be registered to vote. So Taylor Swift is using social media for young people to go out and register to vote. And that's fantastic stuff that Taylor Swift has done to involve more young people civically in their own government. And I really appreciate the great job that Taylor Swift has done to do just that. I don't know if they're going to have another debate or not. They had one on ABC. I think CNN should host another one. CNN hosted Biden and Trump. And I therefore, to see a second debate of Kamala and Trump, I would say change the network. There's no MSN doing it. There's no Fox News moderating the debate. Just have CNN moderate the next debate. ABC did so. Now CNN should do so. They are center left network. They're not MSN. They're not Fox News. So I would absolutely, if there is another debate, CNN should host the next debate. Time Warner Cable. Or PBS has any nominators, as any moderators. PBS, I think, would be another great choice. Trump absolutely needs another debate. He's completely cooked without another debate. I love her energy. I love her smiles all night. Donald Trump didn't want to be there. The body language was very revealing. Kamala looked Donald Trump in the eye. She countered everything he had to say. Yeah, she was laughing at some nonsensical things Donald Trump said, especially the eating of the dogs and the cats. She wins on the body language. She wins on the substance. I think everybody could envision seeing Donald Trump lose against a nominee who, quite frankly, was not suffering from dementia. Is that a dolphin? I like the Dolphins. Yeah, I like the Dolphins tomorrow. I do. I think an offense like that, I think with the way that the Buffalo Bills have lost defensive players, yeah, Miami should take the game tomorrow. But obviously, I'm excited about ASU winning. No one's ever heard of Texas State, so it should be a win for ASU, but be a bonus, of course, if the Miami Dolphins win the Thursday game. Just trying out my new wine glass. You see, it's a wide glass, but really, when you swish it around, it for some reason it enhances the flavor the wider the glass is. So I definitely uh, I can definitely tell a difference just by having a wine glass that's a little wider at the bottom. If some semantics of it, but somehow it does enhance the flavor. I was watching Dodgers Cubs right now since Cubs seem to be red hot and they play the Rockies next, and it doesn't look like the Cubs can keep pace with the wild card. So it looks like Cubs are going to miss the playoffs. And it looks like D-backs won't be able to catch the Dodgers for the NOS. They should be able to still hold on, but that pitching's a joke. The Dodgers pitching is a big cause for concern before we start October. So hopefully, under 2 months, in a blink of an eye, this election stuff is going to be over. We'll move on. I will still correctly predict the last two elections. This means I'll absolutely be correct about 2028 after I nail the 2024 election. And before we get to inauguration, there are some big court cases where Donald Trump is going to be sentenced, and certain cases are going to begin to go to trial. But the judges have pushed them back because they didn't want them to happen during. Now, the Washington case with Judge Chutkin, I'm not sure if they are proceeding with showing evidence before the election. But the New York hush money case sentencing, I think, is sometime November after the election, and we await the Georgia case, and there's another one I'm forgetting about. Trump was never named in the Arizona fake electors scheme, but four major cases where Donald Trump could be convicted and potentially be sentenced to house confinement, which he will not be able to conduct business. Nobody wants to hear Donald Trump speak. He won't even have speaking engagements. This guy completely blew it. He can't join the other presidents at the club because he always has something to say about Bush or Obama, and he can't even conduct himself with any decency. Anyways, this is why the American people are sick and tired of him, and this was a disaster of a debate. It absolutely is a big deal because we may not see another debate, and this was the last chance for Donald Trump to put himself over the edge of Kamala, despite being very hated by the majority of the country. Donald Trump was not able to stand out as far as policy or conducting a proper debate. I mean, he definitely you see, he's not even the mega alpha president that these right wingers think he is. He can't even get up and shake Kamala's hand. He can't even look her in the eyes because he's terrified of this woman. And Kamala was just the opposite. She was the alpha. Kamala conducted herself as the alpha, laughing, having fun, embracing the debate, embracing the pressure. If she started off a little bit slow, she had to grow into the debate to shake off the nervousness. But she was absolutely on fire during the last half of the debate. Donald Trump, his body language showed me somebody who didn't want to be there. You can't have that. You got to have energy for the job. Now, America has always had older presidents. But at Donald Trump's current age, he's losing energy. You could be president in your 60s. You have plenty of old presidents throughout the history of this country. But were they 70 to 80 years of age, 75 plus, 80 plus in the case of Biden? And Trump is 78 years of age. He'd be 79 if he were to be elected. And he's losing energy. People can see it. Now, this doesn't mean that anyone who's 60 and above shouldn't be president, because I think Bernie is very mentally sharp at his age to carry out the duties of the presidency. But other old people are affected more by dementia and cognitive decline than other old people. It's a interesting precedent that, because of what we've witnessed with Biden and Trump, does this mean America is going to outright reject anybody who may be over 60 years of age? Or what's the barrier? 60 years of age, 65, or 70 years of age? What age is too old to be president? Well, I think the only thing that matters is it's not necessarily the age that you're too old to be president. It's just the mental and physical state at any point in time that can deem one too old to serve. So is he having problems getting up in the morning, walking up and down the stairs of Air Force One? Can he conduct interviews very sharply and coherently? Can they handle debates very coherently and be able to navigate from one thought to another thought? But certainly, I think the voters, they could be prejudiced against older presidents, saying, majority of the American presidents have been of older age, and the youngest president, Obama, what was he, 40 years of age or something when he got elected at 44 years of age, and that was deemed very young. And Kamala is 60. So I'm guessing the benchmark, the standard, an age deemed too old to serve will probably be when they're in their 70 to 80 years of age range. Again, it all depends on their individual physical health and current state of mind. And I think Bernie Sanders is definitely sharper mentally than both Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I think Bernie could easily serve. Did they use his age against him in 2020? It just seems so fallacious if they did, because Joe Biden was an old man too. I mean, he won the primaries. Chicago Cubs. This team just doesn't go away. A base runner on first and second with no outs in the ninth inning, down by 3 runs. They really need this game today, knowing they have the Colorado Rockies next. Hey, well, hopefully this is a dramatic finish full of fireworks. Hopefully.
First and second, no outs.
Cody Bellinger, former Dodger. Can he hit a 3-run home run or something?
Now some skirting in the Dodger bullpen.
Man, this glass really does make a difference. That was good.
Upstairs.
The Yankees won 4-3 against the Kansas City Royals. I don't know why when I think of the Royals, I think of Saudi Arabia and the royal family. Saudi Arabia did 9/11, so that's something I think about the Yankees playing against the Royals. But 4-3 they won. Bush was the 43rd president. The 43rd president was president during 9/11. The Yankees won 4-3. And then the New York Mets, they were no hit. Top of the ninth inning, they hit a solo home run. They won the game.
99 ripped back. Strike one.
You can tell how much Cody was looking for any kind of fastball, asking right now if that was a strike. It was not.
Hey, Bellinger already hit a 3-run home run, and if he does the same exact thing, it'd be a tied ball game.
The former Dodger represents the tying run for the Cubs in the top of the ninth. 99 is right.
3 balls. Wow. This is big time. He could walk the bases with no outs in the ninth inning.
Man, oh, Manny.
Walked him.
Walked and loaded.
Imagine if the Cubs go all the way and steal a wild card spot. I just can't see the D-backs or the Padres blowing it. Major League Baseball is a joke that I can't even watch my own team play. They're blacked out, the D-backs. So, yeah, Major League Baseball is a joke in that department. I can't even watch the D-backs, but I can't even get them on YouTube TV.
Time runs aboard.
I'm not paying for a single team package because I have to watch the Yankees. I should watch the Yankees and the D-backs.
Pitch clock violation on Michael Kopech.
Pitch clock violation? Then he starts 1-0 in the count. You can't make this up. I think the Bills have lost too many defensive players. The Miami Dolphins still have a great offense. The Bills lost too many defensive players. That's going to be the edge. Excluding the special teams touchdown, the kickoff return by the Cardinals, the Bills, they won that game by 10 points. So they're looking good. But, yeah, the Bills defense allowed a wide open Marvin Harrison. Tua doesn't miss a wide open Marvin Harrison.
100th of game from ball two.
Will Dave Roberts get fired if they don't make it to the pennant series? That doesn't do the job enough. They may bring home a runner from third. So the tying run is now at first base, first and second.
Shows you how big that Tommy Edman home run was. Always want the insurance heading into the ninth, but Doggy's already had the lead.
But yeah, I will be live here for the election night. It's not going to take too long. I think they should be able to announce a winner on the night of. It won't have to come down to Arizona and Nevada. I think the Harris Waltz campaign is in great hands. Waltz is like the everyday American. J.D. Vance is a weirdo. He's out of touch. He went to Yale. He makes friends with rich elitists in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. Pretty much out of touch Republican Party. I think Nikki Haley would have been a much better pick for vice president than weirdo J.D. Vance. Oh, thrown out! They try to steal third base. He got thrown out. Dodgers going to win this game now.
Thank you, Cubs. I mean, a totally unnecessary.
He had a slow jump to third base, the base runner.
Position, but I mean, Neil Smith all over it. The second out of the inning.
Well, that wasn't a strike. Umpire just wanted to go home. Stop the bleeding. Lovable loser struck again.
It wasn't easy. It certainly was stressful. But the Dodgers avoid the sweep of the hands of the Cubs, taking the finale 10-8.
Someone please tell me that ASU should be easy money. I've never heard of Texas State before. ASU beat Mississippi State at home. The SEC, yes. Auburn lost to Cal, yes. A&M lost to Notre Dame, yes. There may have been a couple other SEC losses, but still, it's the SEC. I've never heard of Texas State. The ASU should beat Texas State. That is the game to bet on. The Dolphins-Bills game is a 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. In the ASU, Texas State game is priced at the same amount as the Bills game. So between a pick 'em and a 1.2 point favorite for ASU. I bet on ASU, and ASU beat them big, hopefully. Nothing like 30, 40 points. Maybe it could be 17 points or 10 points. I mean, the used to be an Oregon offensive coordinator, so maybe he's got the expectation. But the Dolphins have to win this game. You can't lose another game to Buffalo if you are to be taken seriously. It has to be a rivalry again. Miami has lost too many games to Buffalo. They've lost too many games to Buffalo. I'm not a fan of the Dolphins. I know they haven't beaten many teams above 500. The only team they've beaten is the Cowboys, but again, it's only the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't beat any team of substance that's over 500. You all know that Dak has paid all this money. We don't know how good the Saints are quite yet because you can't judge them off of the Carolina Panthers because the Panthers are a bad football team. Now, Joshua Hilton was telling me he's the little Carolina guy, Donald Trump fan. He thinks Panthers will win every game. He's all fanatical about Donald Trump. Anyways, the comments are very entertaining. I like seeing him comment on my political videos. And, every time I pick against Carolina, it's like, oh, my God. It's like I killed one of his family members or something, But Jim Harbaugh not losing to Carolina. Can the Ravens win by double digits? Hopefully the Patriots win. I mean, I think the Patriots starting 2-0 before a primetime game against the New York Jets, and the New York Jets are 1-1. It's a pressure situation for Aaron Rodgers. Even if they beat the Titans and the Patriots beat the Seahawks, the Jets play the Patriots next, and that is a game that the Jets absolutely must win against New England. Otherwise, New England under this scenario would be 3-0 and the Jets 1-2. So I think having the Jets win and the Patriots beat the Seahawks would make Jets-Patriots a must-win game for Broadway Joe, Aaron Rodgers. I say Broadway Joe like it's Joe Namath, but Aaron Rodgers, his first home game with the New York Jets to beat a Patriots team that hasn't lost a game yet, that is a very compelling game. That is a very compelling setup for week 3. So you come in to the Patriots game. The Patriots beat the Bengals, and the Seahawks, they only beat the Broncos, and they're not great by any stretch of the imagination. So Geno may be good, yes, but how much of it was due to Pete Carroll? I got to go with the Patriots over the Seahawks. I think the semantics are correct that the Seahawks, outside the talk, man, they don't do great on the road. So Patriots told it. Is it a humiliation ritual against Bill Belichick or something? Well, Patriots are still not making the playoffs because there's too many elite quarterbacks in the AFC. Now, the afternoon cap. I don't give a damn about straight up in the Chiefs-Bengals game. My top play for the Chiefs and the Bengals is for Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. He's at 74. If he gets to 75, Cincinnati Bengals is 75. If he scores a touchdown in the first quarter or second quarter, great. You already won. You can enjoy, hopefully, what will be a good football game. Now, if it's the third and the fourth quarter, obviously the tension would be high if Travis Kelce hasn't scored a touchdown early on in the game. I think the Texans are probably going to win by double digits. The Bears needed a blocked punt and a boneheaded interception by Will Levis to win. So therefore, I will go the Texans still have a convincing win at home. And Caleb Williams still struggling, but I'm not going to judge him off of 2 games. I'm going to judge Caleb Williams off of 10 to 15 games or 2 seasons. Now, the Arizona Cardinals against the Rams. That one could be a really good game. Because Cardinals, they narrowly lost against the Bills. In the Rams, they took the Lions to overtime. Now, the Rams had some guys that were banged up. But how I approached that game, and people are not going to know much about Kyler Murray. But the Cardinals are going to absolutely beat the Rams. Marvin Harrison is going to get involved. Marvin Harrison, the son of Marvin Harrison of the Colts, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he does get a touchdown. It's very risky. Does Kyler Murray rush it in? Does James Conner score a touchdown? Or does Here Comes the Bride, Trey McBride, tight ends, middle of the field, red zone offense? I think Marvin Harrison just find a way to score a touchdown. He's got to be I think Kyler's going to be eyeballing Marvin Harrison, looking to get him involved, looking to get his confidence up. A player to score, I get it. He's Tyreek Hill, but I think after the whole thing with the police that Tyreek Hill probably find the end zone again. I haven't seen the video of the whole encounter, but nothing good happens when you try to throw yourself into a police investigation. So Calais Campbell, I don't know what he was doing. You don't expect anything good to happen when you try to interfere with the police investigation. Was Tyreek hostile, combative towards the officer? Now, I think what the officer did wrong was Tyreek Hill was concerned about his knee because he had knee surgery. Was it really necessary to put him down on the ground like that? I mean, I think 49ers should be able to win because, again, Kyle Shanahan knows what Sam Darnold likes to do, what he doesn't like to do, having been his offensive coordinator. So if McCaffrey comes back, the thing that will decide that game, of course, is how Sam Darnold responds to Kyle Shanahan, but they'll try to double Jefferson, take him out of the game. Not sure if the Vikings have a solid number 2 or a good receiving tight end threat. They used to have Kyle Rudolph, but he's no longer there. And they don't have Cook, the running back. I think it's mostly it's due to the Giants being a terrible team. I think Vikings are good. They'll be competitive. But I think the Giants are just a terrible team. Kyle Shanahan's born at Minneapolis. Is he really going to lose at Minneapolis for 2 straight years? I think it comes down to the quarterback. They don't have Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is pretty good. He doesn't win against the top teams. He's not great on prime time, but Kirk Cousins is solid if you want a team to be in a playoff mix. So 49ers should be able to win that game against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings are still in the playoff race. And if the Vikings lose and the Bears lose. They're both 1-1, so it makes the divisional games pretty interesting. Packers and Colts. Again, Richardson is Comanche 55. Lambo is Comanche 55. So for me, Jordan Love is overpaid if the Packers win without him. So Packers have to struggle without Jordan Love because they have to justify paying Jordan Love all of those millions of dollars. So I do think the Packers are going to struggle in these Masonic teams, these Masonic G for God, G for knowledge. Packers, Jordan Love is out for the year, but then they get some high draft pick out of this. This is Anthony Richardson. He had a good game against the Texans. Anthony Richardson in the Colts to win the football game. And the Packers are 0-2. Now, Packers have a great loyal fan base, so they'll always root for the Packers regardless if they're good or bad. Small market team like the Colts, if it's about maximizing fan interest, Colts have to win the game. They're not 0-2. They're 1-1. They're in the AFC South divisional race with the Jaguars and the Titans. The Colts winning maximizes the fan interest of the Colts fans. So Indianapolis is going to beat Green Bay. So we've already realized that there's no way the Ravens are going to lose. There's no way the Chargers are going to lose. Hopefully the same applies to the Texans. NFC West, I think we've already touched up on. The Buccaneers and the Lions game. Now, that one could be another tight game because the Buccaneers and Evans had 2 touchdowns. Baker's being very good. Todd Bowles is a great defensive coach. Can the Buccaneers find something in their game plan preparation to give Detroit some problems? Baker feels great and confident. Hutchinson on the D-line is great. Who's that elite pass rushing outside linebacker on the Lions? That's another area where I think Lions could get stronger. And I like to learn who their great offensive, their great offensive linebacker is. But the Buccaneers, this could be a comeback game for Jared Goff, potentially. Now, I obviously hope the Lions will win the game. If the Lions lose against the Bucs, that'd be the worst thing for my Cardinals before week 3. Because if the Lions lose, they have a high sense of urgency. If they're 2-0, they're feeling great. They feel like they're overconfident. So hopefully the Lions win the game and the Buccaneers don't upset them, because this means the Lions will be laser focused against the Cardinals, and that could be a bad thing for the Cardinals. So I go Lions to win the football game because it's supposed to be a big year for the Lions by the numbers. 0-16, 16 years after going 0-16, the Lions to win the NFC. We're not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to play in the Super Bowl. They're going to be win the NFC. They're going to play in the Super Bowl, but if they in the Super Bowl, they're going to lose the Super Bowl. Get a wine glass like this. Oh my God, it really enhances the taste. Okay, what the other game? Kirk Cousins has been brought into Atlanta to win. Bottom line is I'm going with Kirk Cousins in Atlanta win against the Eagles. Eagles self-destructed. The Packers were this trash. The wide receivers, they drop passes. This is a team that's going to lose 10 games. So overall, I like Atlanta to fuck people over on Monday. Eagles will be fine. They'll win the NFC East. It's the Dallas Cowboys. They're not winning the division. Philadelphia Eagles are winning the division. Who cares if the Cowboys beat the Saints? Cowboys are still choking against the Ravens. And who do they have the entire AFC North? Are they going to choke against the Bengals? Yes, they will. Do they play against the Bengals? I don't know. Do they play against the entire NFC North? Oh, they play the Steelers. So this means they do play the Bengals. And they're going to lose against both the Bengals and the Ravens. Yeah, Deshaun Watson is terrible. That's a terrible contract. It's just such a disaster. They get rid of 3 first-round draft picks. The Browns will lose against the Jaguars. Browns will easily lose against the Jaguars. There's no debate. They're going to lose against them. The Jets did score some touchdowns to end the last game. Cowboys and Texans, when do they play? That's a much-watched game. I'm going to C.J. Stroud on that game. Dak Prescott's overpaid. You like the Cowboys, I like the Yankees, and we're in a similar boat, except the Yankees haven't gone 30 years without winning an AL pennant. So there are some clear differences between the Yankees and the Cowboys. Yeah, most feels like the Yankees are the Cowboys are the way that they lose sometimes. November 18, Monday Night Football. Wow. Monday Night Football. I'm watching that game. We've covered every game then. The public hates the Chiefs, so they'll bet the Bengals. They know nothing about the Cardinals, so their ignorance is going to hurt them in that game. If everyone's going to bet on the Bengals, if they want to bet on the Cardinal game, the Rams going to lose, guaranteed. It was a scripted comeback, anyways. The Lions were beating that garbage team 17-3. So they not worth the hot shit. Fuck Matthew Stafford. Fuck the Rams. Fuck them. Fuck them. No, nobody remembers that championship. Nobody does. The only thing people remember was the refs screwing the Bengals. Nobody recognized the Rams as a real champion. They're a bunch of pigs. Commanders will absolutely beat the Giants. Daniels is 64. New York Giants is 64. New owners, Washington gets to win. The Giants, they're terrible. They need a new quarterback. They need a new team, not just a new quarterback. They need a new offensive line. They need a new defensive line. They need a new running back. Saquon Barkley, my goodness. Trader. The Giants suck. This guy's a Philly guy. Went to Penn State, I think. So, yeah, Giants lost there. He purposely wanted to fuck over the Giants. What team is he a fan of growing up, Saquon Barkley? Was he really an Eagle fan? I'm afraid. Favorite team growing up? He's a Jets fan. He wanted to screw over the Giants. He's a fan of the New York Mets, the New York Jets. Saquon Barkley. Oh, he rooted for Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez. Saquon Barkley just wanted to fuck over the Giants. He's a fan of the New York Jets. This explains his motivations to join the Eagles. He's a fan of the Jets. He hates the Giants. Giants didn't do the research. Clown team. Apparently, the father of New York Giants running back is a man has worn Alabama, has worn his devotion on his sleeves for years. On his left forearm, where he etched into his skin a tattoo logo of the New York Jets. He's a New York Jets fan who fucked over the Giants. That is the story of Saquon Barkley. He's going to fuck over the Giants again on October 20th. He's a fan of the New York Jets. He's going to play the Eagle Giants games like it's Jets against Giants. He's going to absolutely score a touchdown when they face off October 20th. I have to say is that your Dallas Cowboys are going to get smoked by Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Get ready for this. Derek Carr will probably throw an interception, right? Cowboys by double digits against the Saints. Cowboys in the fake narrative surrounding this team that they are Super Bowl contender. You see, why are you picking against the Eagles? Because the Eagles are not a great team. They're a great offense, but they're not an all-around team. They have a weak defense. They're not the 49ers. They're not the Chiefs. They're not the Baltimore Ravens because they don't have the Baltimore Ravens defense. When a team like Atlanta approaches the Monday Night Football game, for them, it is a must-win. For them, winning is a must when you face the Chiefs the next week. So this is Kirk Cousins' career right here. And he has to learn a new offense. Does something happen to Kirk? Maybe. I don't know. The Cardinals are a lock to beat the Rams because there are many teams that are going to miss the playoffs. I don't know if I'm delusional about the Cowboys, but I think they're going to miss the playoffs. Well, the Cowboy fans should be cheering the injury of Jordan Love because it's one team they have to worry about. So mission accomplished right there. Now, a team like the Cardinals, that could be a threat to the Cowboy playoff chances if the Philadelphia Eagles were to make it. If the Cowboys do make the playoffs, I could see a win in the wild card round and they lose against the Lions and Prescott falls to 3-5. What is he today? 2-5, so it'll be 3-5. He'll fall to 3-6. Prescott's 35. He loses in the divisional round. He's a joke. So what people say about him is he only does well against terrible teams. That's absolutely correct. Participating, qualifying in the playoffs is the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum because you have Jaden Daniels, you have Daniel Jones, so you should finish top 2 in your division. Jerry Jones is a skeleton. He won't win anything. He's got the wrong quarterback. Which quarterback could they have traded for is what I like to know. I absolutely should think Russell Wilson should start against the Donkeys. To show what a delusional organization they are. They don't have weapons. They have an overrated coach. Jim Harbaugh is far better in any way imaginable compared to Sean Payton. He quit on the Saints. He bailed on the Saints. Despite having an easy division, he had no plan. He never wanted to sign Baker Mayfield. He's a joke. Sean Payton does not know how to bring in a good quarterback into his team. So when I look at that Denver Pittsburgh game, Pittsburgh starts 2-0, but they'll probably choke and miss the playoffs because the NFL is rigged for their superstar quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I think once the second half comes around, once the NFC North divisional games start, is when the Steelers are going to lose games. They're pretty bad if they lose against the Broncos. They only beat a team that had a new quarterback learning a new offense. Denver didn't play anybody special. They played mediocre Seattle. So the bottom line is that I think the Steelers do start 2-0, and the obnoxious fans start saying, we win the division, we win the Super Bowl. Oh, my God. So, yeah, Mike Tomlin always finishes around 500, so Steelers going to win week 2. Who the hell we playing this week? Oh, the Ravens. Oh, my fucking God. We are cooked. We don't have a quarterback. We don't have Jim Harbaugh. We don't have Derek Carr. This team is absolutely cooked. This team is they're cooked. There's no way the Raiders are winning against a team like Baltimore. There's no way. Be cooked. No quarterback, no nothing. Don't be delusional. Owner's a loser. Owner is a loser. Owner is completely delusional. This stupid faggot ass owner who don't know how to get a haircut he refused to give the Raiders Jim Harbaugh. He's a failed negotiator. He's an absolute joke. Really, he's a joke. He should be ashamed of himself. His father, he has a bum running the team. It's a joke.
Watch world-class soccer live on a variety of networks all season long with YouTube TV. Try it free. Tons of likings anytime.
Ready, nation, stand up. I tried to tell you we were coming this year. It's the Oakland Raider anthem, let it bump in your ear. Derek Carter, MVP, man, he wanted his clear.
Just lose, baby. Just lose. This team's been dead for 2 decades. This team is dead. Fuck you, Mark Taylor. Jim Harbaugh should be their coach. Dickhead. Why? Josh Jacobs! Where the hell is he at? Devontae wants to trade him. Clutch in the mail, smash mail. Who's going to take on that persona in the head coaching position? It's 4th down. Go for it. Why is he punting the ball? What the hell? Team is gay. It's a joke. Hold Patrick Mahomes at gunpoint, steal their quarterback, cut the quarterback from Purdue, cut Minshew, rob them of their quarterback. Let's hold Patrick Mahomes at gunpoint. You're coming to the Raiders. Get your ass over here. This is a pillow diversity. You back. Are you coming over to the Raiders? We'll definitely beat the garbage-ass Panthers. Thank goodness we'll win a game. Thank goodness. Who should own the Raiders? Which smart mind out there should run the Raiders? We should care about bringing the best man available instead of feel good, Antonio Pierce. He should have had Derek Carr teamed up with Jim Harbaugh. He would have taken the job if he had Derek Carr. Because look at what he did with Alex Smith. This team is delusional. This team is dysfunctional. You allow him to go to the LA Chargers. It's just, oh boy, here we go again. After everything was beating that garbage-ass team 63 to 18, whatever the hell it was, and you could have had Jim Harbaugh, and you could have named Antonio Pierce the successor to Jim Harbaugh, but you messed it up. You could have named him the assistant head coach. You could have named Antonio Pierce the successor to Jim Harbaugh. You're promised the job at the point in time that Jim Harbaugh leaves, and you can learn as much as you can from the GOAT, Jim Harbaugh. They don't know how to win. They don't know how to strategically set themselves for success. That is the problem. Until they continue to employ that bum Mark Davis, this will continue to be a poverty-ass organization. They'll continue to be worse than the Arizona Cardinals. They'll continue to be worse than many sorry-ass organizations out there without any AFC championship appearances, without anything. We're talking about the Houston Texans. We're talking about Carolina Panthers haven't won the Super Bowl. That's another team, too. This team hasn't done shit for 2 decades. NFL hates the Raiders, but at some point, we got to stop crying about the NFL hating the Raiders. And the fact is this loser owner who don't know how to get a haircut. This guy could have had Jim Harbaugh and Derek Carr. This guy is a one big epic failure. He should be fired. He should be beheaded, figuratively speaking. He should be replaced. He knows what he's doing. He's all about the money. He is a Jew, but he's a Jew who don't care about winning. Al Davis is a Jew, and he absolutely cares about winning. This team don't live and embrace and live by religiously. Just win! Just win! I don't give a damn about your feelings. You hire James Joseph Harbaugh. Just win, baby. Just win. And instead, what are we left with? Gives a tale about Josh McDoofus. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? This team is a poverty-ass organization. They're garbage. You could run the team better than Mark Davis. I could run the team better than Mark Davis. Your aunt, your mom, your girlfriend, your fiance, they could run the team better than that bum over there. Here's what he is. He's a bum. He's a cuck. He'll let the Chiefs win the Super Bowl in his own stadium. This team is dead, and Mark Davis is a cuck. You see, leadership don't take accountability. They don't give a damn. Period. But don't be delusional, because it's willful, blissful ignorance suggests that you can have any other outcome under this current administration of the ladies. There's no need to care about this team. They're going to lose it week. They're going to lose the following week because they are losers. This team is dead. Until the early 2000s, this team is dead. They no longer the badass motherfucking organization that teams fear. So yeah, we cooked. We cooked until I become the owner of the Raiders. How much money will it take? How much collateral will it take to own the Oakland Raiders, to buy the team at the end of Patrick Mahomes' career so we can dominate? Move the team back to the Bay, the heart and soul of the team, to build a magnificent, most beautiful of all beautiful new arenas. Find some other failing team and move them to Vegas and move the Raiders back to the Bay. This team is cooked. This team is sold out. Everything was heading the right way. They just had to wait another year to hire Jim Harbaugh, and these guys are retards. It's quite simple. The Chargers had Jim Harbaugh. They have a quarterback. Raiders don't have a quarterback. They don't have Jim Harbaugh. It does take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But look at these dickheads. You say the Raiders are a poverty-ass franchise, so yeah, the Arizona Cardinals. Oh. In the past 20 years, who's played in more Super Bowls? The Cardinals or the Raiders? The Cardinals. Who's had more playoff wins? The Cardinals. Who's had the greatest wide receiver ever to play the game? The Arizona Cardinals. And he's played with a bunch of mediocre quarterbacks. Larry Fitzgerald's the greatest wide receiver ever. How many playoff qualifications? Cardinals have had more than the Raiders. Team's a poverty-ass organization. And I say they're a poverty-ass organization because they're conducting themselves like a poverty-ass organization. Now, at least the Raiders didn't pass on Patrick Mahomes, man. This would make things far worse if they did pass on Patrick Mahomes. Because the Raiders made the playoffs in the 2017 draft, I think the Chiefs traded to move up. The Raiders picked number 24. The Kansas City Chiefs are picking at number 10. So I'd say the Bengals count because they did pass on Patrick Mahomes in 2017. The Bengals could have been the next dynasty. But they didn't have Andy Reid. Andy Reid does play a big part of it. Los Angeles Chargers, they passed on Patrick Mahomes. This was before they drafted Justin Herbert. The New York Jets passed on Patrick Mahomes. Tennessee Titans passed on Patrick Mahomes. The 49ers, the most infamous example. In two clown teams, the Cleveland Clowns and the Chicago Bears, these two teams, they pass on Patrick Mahomes. They're not going to do anything as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the league. So there wasn't many teams that passed on Patrick Mahomes, but there are some very significant examples. Now, what makes it interesting is why has Josh Allen lost against the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs traded up to number 10. They traded with Buffalo to acquire the pick of Patrick Mahomes. So the two teams that have hurt the most from passing on Patrick Mahomes is the Bills and the 49ers. The Buffalo Bills could have kept the number 10 pick to select Patrick Mahomes. Bills suck. I mean, you had to make a right judgment call. They failed. The Bills deserve this misery. They traded with the Chiefs, so the Chiefs could trade up to number 10, and they could draft Patrick Mahomes. The Bills didn't even keep the number 10 pick. They could have drafted Patrick Mahomes. The Bills are an epic failure of an organization. Disaster. Mamma mia, mamma mia. This team sucks.